previously on Supa-Saturday's Draw Along.
That's why I love to draw, and I wanna create Supa-Saturday, 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 draw along.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Supa-Saturday's Draw Along with me, Jerry Hinds. Glad you can join me again. I was here earlier today, actually. I was here for Late Night Art Attack with my comrade in arms, Raul, my usual comrade in arms. And we were joined by Christian and Edwin, a couple of Madness Entertainment Group regulars. And if you'd like to have a look at what we got up to earlier today, let's have a quick recap of what, especially me and Raul, did. I've got it here somewhere. Here's a brief recap of what we did earlier. No, I tell a lie. I haven't got it here. I thought I'd uploaded it, but no, I didn't. Maybe I'll upload it a bit later on. Oh, the worst producer known to mankind. Okay, so what are we up to here? That's right. We were coloring Lady Sif. Remember from the Mighty Thor comics? So let me bring that up. That's a wonderful start. I'm not uploading the recap video. Here we are, Lady Sif. And last week, we inked the pencils. We put in the base colors. And then we started shading. So you can see some bits of, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. It's getting tight like a tiger. See, there's some bits of shading going in on the blue already. So what we're doing is we're putting in the dark parts first. We're putting the highlights later. And what I'm going to share with you now is how I color digitally in a convenient way. So you can see the inking here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch off the detail and the blacks or the spotting. So this inking just borders all of the areas of color. This makes it easier to select an area. For example, now I want to shade the cloak. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to select these parts of the cloak. Let's get up close in the gaps. As I always say, I must remember to zoom in because the more I zoom in, the more interesting it is for you. Now I'm using the magic wand and I'm selecting these parts of the cloak, the inner color. Now I'm not sure if you can see the marching ants. I'm going to zoom in. Now you see, you can't actually see the active area. But when you select an area, you get something called marching ants. And they're all active now. So I'm going to switch back on my inks so I know how and where to shade. Go to my blue-white effects layer. So I'm going to get burn. I'm using dodge and burn to shade. So I'm going to get the burn tool, color burn. I set my density to 20. Airbrush, nice soft texture. And I'm going to select a rich kind of blue. Then I'm going to put my color picker in the center. I want this shade of blue to put in the shadows. I'm going to get a bigger brush. My brush is now 70. I'm putting a shadow behind her form first. I'm going to drop in a shadow there. See, because I haven't got the body selected, I'm not affecting those parts. of the white blue. I call it white blue because, as I mentioned previously, Jack Kirby had a way. Jack King Kirby, he created Lady Sif, along with Stan Lee, of course. And he had a way of creating fabrics that look almost metallic, but still had the presence of folding like a fabric. Very, very wonderful quality in his design that I very much like. So you see, Lady Sif looks like she's kind of semi-metallic and cloth. The way she's, her costume, the fabrics that are involved. Now, here's a tricky one. I don't want to put shadow on the outer leaf. So I'm going to press Option and click on that outer part that I don't want, that outer leaf of the cape. Now I can put the shadow in here and not affect the outer part. That's better. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. I don't want a shadow out here. So I'm going to press Option. That subtracts that area. Then put a shadow in here. There, we're getting a shadow inside. Good. I'm going to put a little bit of a shadow in here. Now I'm going to deselect. Now I'm going to select this outer part. And I'm going to put a shadow in here. And just under there. Smaller brush. Let's take that up a bit. Let a shadow just on the inside here. And the same on the other side. Put a shadow in here. Bit at the bottom. And just a little bit on the inner edge. How lovely. It's a bit quiet in here. How about some music? How about that? Let's put on a little bit of background music. There's one here called Night Driving. There. Set the mood. Now the thing is, because of daylight saving time, the time there in America now is 6 p.m. or just gone 6 p.m., right? My show started at 6 p.m. Now, because of your daylight saving time, your clocks went back 1 hour. I'm based in Singapore, and our clocks don't move. We're near the equator. We don't have the problem of evenings getting too dark, etc. So that means when you used to see me at 6 p.m., it was indeed 6 a.m. here. But because of your daylight saving time, I just got an extra hour in bed. The time here now is 7:10 a.m. How about that? In fact, I didn't realize last week that we were in a different time zone. And I'm not sure that last week's show actually went out at the scheduled time, because I didn't set my alarm to a different time. And I was here at the same time as normal, which should mean that technically I was early for my class last week, or session, I call it. Then we're putting in some shadow on the headgear. Nice. Bit of shadow behind that hair. So we've put in a lot of the dark parts, or the shading, or the cloak. just a small shadow on the inside here, in the outer cloak. And I'm toying with the idea of putting in a light source coming in, another light source coming in from the right. I often do the left. Should I do that? Yes, why not? Live dangerously, Jerry Hinds. I'm going to put in now another accent that's going to pave the way for another light source. At the moment, we've got a generic light source coming from above, but I'm going to put an accent coming in from the right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the color from the sword. I'm going to put, I'm going to put the base color of the sword on a different layer. So I'm going to say cut. I'm going to paste this above. And I'm going to call this sword. Always label your layers, yeah? I'm going to call this sword. I'm going to remove it from these layers. Nice. So now I'm going to put an accent on my white blue layer. So let's have that. What should we do? Let's put an accent down our outer thigh here. We come down here. See, we're not going to affect the sword because we just move the sword away. There. We put an accent on the inner leg here. Come down here as well. And if a light is coming from the other side, it's going to accentuate on that part of the leg also. Outer arm here. Smaller brush to get these creases. Let's come up over the shoulder. Over the shoulder. Let's look at the cape. There we are, the cape. An accent going in there. No, I should. Don't be lazy. I should select that part separately. So I've got more freedom with the area that I shade. There. That's looking good. Put an accent on the chest area. Down the torso. And the skirt. I mentioned that Jack Kirby has this way of drawing metallic material. This skirt is a perfect example of that. Good. Then this arm is behind. So the secondary light source might creep in. So we keep the accent here. This inner cape is hidden. Let me just make this a little bit darker in general. It's hidden away from the light. And this outer cape here might capture a little bit of that light coming from the right side. Nice. Now let's look at the headgear. I'm going to put a thin accent coming in here. And on the outer edge, I'm going to catch some light over there. So that accent light. Do this bit here as well. This part here is hidden away from the light. So put this in a little bit more shadow. And then we let this pick up some light here as well. From the darkness, it is easier to catch the light, you see. Jolly good. Jolly good. So now we've got a sword. I duplicate that there for sword effects. So first thing I'm going to do is put in a stripe of shadow down there, then a more abrupt accent on this edge. Come down. That third line, I'm not sure it's necessary. I think that's nice. That'll do. And just bolster the shadows in the cloak. There we go. I'm going to save. Save.
Save.
We're not sketching this. We're not sketching at the moment. So I can't say my favorite.
Keep those pencils light.
Yep, no need for that. Not when you're going digital with the coloring. But we do have.
Save.
Yes, that's always going to be there. I'm working digitally. Last week on Late Night Art Attack, we pre-recorded that show because I was at a show drawing live, and Christian Zaffo from the Addicts comic, I streamed live with him on his show when I was actually drawing traditionally on a big easel. I was doing a large image of my character Singapore Sling, because here in Singapore, it's Singapore's 60th birthday this year. So we had a lot of festivities, you could say. And I was drawing my character named after the country. That appears in Supercross, which I'll show you a bit later actually, because we've got a new campaign coming up with Thunderzone Comics. And I'm going to share a bit more on that later on today. I'm going to be here until 7:30. Show starts at 6. It's from 6 to 7:30. It's an hour and a half long. So there, we've put in the dark parts of Lady Sif, the shadows. Now let's go for the first basic lighting, shall we? The first basic lighting, we're going to go for dodge. Color dodge. There we go. And we move our color picker up into the white. And the first thing we can look at is the thigh. I'm going to keep my brush density at 20. Put an accent on the knee. And down going towards the calf. Thigh again. Just a little accent on the lower leg. Got a bit of white here on the skirt. Bit of extra light. On top of that thigh there. Put a bit of a white accent on this midriff area here. Go to the chest and put, come back in the other direction. Because you see the base color I had was a light blue. Very light blue. So when we go light, get a nice white within the light blue. Accent on that forearm. On the bicep and the forearm again. This is a very quick and convenient way of coloring using dodge and burn. Remember, comics deal all about what I like to say deadlines. And with deadlines, we need speed. So I'm going to select these areas here, which I've depicted in the inking to be a bit lighter. And I'm going to stick some whitish accents in there. Good. Put some white down the center here on the front of the crown. There. We've got another light source coming in a minute, which I'm going to put up some sort of yellow accent. I mean, she's friends with the god of thunder, the mighty Thor. So if there's lightning crackling or something around, the most obvious color would be a yellowish light source coming in from the right. So we got that. I'm going to put now some light on the sword. I'm going to take a shimmer straight down the center. And a thin line down the center of the accent that's on the outside. Good. Now let's put in our secondary light source. So I'm going to go for yellow, a very deep gold. Come into the dark area slightly. Oh, I see a comment here somewhere. Let me see. Let's see what's there. Oh, I think it's Pops. What's up? I believe that to be Pops that's dropping by. So let's put in some special effects, some extra lighting. So I've got my yellow color dodge. So let's see how this goes. So what I want to do is, I want to select only the arm area. So I'm going to switch off my coloring so it becomes easy to magic wand. I'm going to select that. I'm going to select this part of the body, square area. And the leg. The legs. Remember I showed you earlier, deselect. It's easy to select like this. Switch off the inking. I'm not doing the cloak. I'm just doing her form first with this secondary light source, yeah? So let me switch back on our detail and our blacks and our base color. So let's put in these accents of color. Okay, I said, what's up? Paul says, hey, yo. Then it better be Pops. Nope, I don't think we've been hacked. So here we're putting in these secondary highlights with a yellow lighting. So let me get my airbrush, color dodge. See that rich color in the color picker. Let me zoom in a bit more. I must remember to zoom in so you guys can see what I'm up to. I'm going to increase my density to 50-ish. Okay, so here now, can you see, as this color goes in, can you see that it's slightly creamish, it's slightly yellow. There. Secondary light source goes in on the outside. Chest area here, we'll pick it up. Bit of an accent over there. Down the stomach. And I'm going to put a bit of an accent on some of those creases there. And coming down the outside here. And then an accent in here. Good. Outer leg. Now, whether or not this would pick up much light because of the cloak, it's highly debatable. So I'm going to keep the shadow down slightly. Outer leg there and there. Then a little bit just in here. The outside of the kneecap there. And the inner thigh there. Come in here, out the calf, and then it's going to pick up a bit of light there. Accent here, just a bit on the arm poking out, and a bit here on the chest area. Now we go to the cloak. Let me switch off my detail, my blacks, sorry. I want to select this and select that part over there. Come back, get my dodge, put back on my blacks, and this is the outer cloak. So this is going to pick up a big piece of light. There you go. And then just on this very thin edge here, we're going to pick up a little bit of light. Now we go to the sword. I'm going to put one accent of yellow light coming down here. Just the other side of that shading that we did. Go to the headgear. Little accent on the outside here. And again, just very thin in this part here. And we'll put it here and just poking in here. Let's put a little accent on the edge of that curve there. And this inner bevel here. I think that does it for our whites. Next, let's go for our flesh areas. That'll be the face and the hands. So here you can see I have a flesh layer. I'm going to duplicate that. And I want to shade this with properties of kind of a bit like a brown. So we come into the color picker. I'm going to take my density back down to 20. I'm going to get a rich brown into the color picker. Slightly more into the orangey red zone here. Brown from there. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in a little bit of shade on the back of this hand. whoops, it would help if I had color burn. We always start from the shadows and work towards the light. A shadow behind the sword guard. Put a shadow in here. And remember the light source that we got coming. So we put in an accent here. So we can put in that yellow light after. Again, that arm is somewhat, the back of his hand is kind of hidden from this light source that we're talking about over here. So I'm going to put, remember the main light source is coming from above. So just put in some very basic accents on the fingers, nothing too fantastic, nothing too extreme. In that shadow down the back of the hand, so we can get in that yellow secondary light source we've been talking about. We put an accent on this finger as well to make room for that. This finger's quite forward as well. And I dare say the knuckle is going to pick up something. We put a shadow on the knuckle. We're going to knock that shadow back later on with that yellow highlight. I'm working on a 24-inch Cintiq, which is quite big. And I think I've mentioned before here that I must remember to zoom in much more because the screen simply isn't as big as what I'm seeing. I have this huge monitor in front of me, and I keep forgetting that the view you have, the screen is very much more diminished. So let's put in our basic shadows. It throws a shadow onto the neck. Then a slight shadow on the lower jaw. Just under the lip, under the nose, under the cheekbones, in the eye socket. They said the main light source is coming from above. So to shape our nose a little bit more. Put the cleft of the lip in. Shadows down the side of the nose. Under the hair, under the fringe. We don't want to use this kind of shading for that part though. That would be more of a black hue. There, good. Jolly good. A little bit of a shape on her nose. We're going to put some blush on her and eyeshadow as well. That comes at the end. Now we're ready for the basic. Whoops, almost forgot. But I put a bit more shadow here so we can pick up that extra yellow lighting I mentioned. You can see my computer backing up there. I'm using Clip Studio Paint. And what this software does is every so often, you'll see it stall and it does an automatic backup. So if anything happens to your work, in the system folder, you will find an old version of that file. And it can be a lifesaver. But I dare say the software now is a lot more stable and there's less requirement for that. Okay, so I'm putting that shadow over there so we can put in these accents with the yellow lighting later on. So we're going to go for straight basic shading first. So we get white in, a color picker. We go to color dodge. Just putting a bit of a highlight on that knuckle. How lovely. And same here. Bit of light on the back of the hand. Now, not too much down here because we're going to have our secondary light source in a minute. So let's get to that now. Let's go for that rich, darkish gold. Go to our dodge. And let's put this light in. Let's zoom in so you can see what's going on, man. There, the knuckle's going to pick this up. Whoops, let's just make it the yellow a little bit paler for this. The color of the skin is picking up the yellow much more actively than the blue was. So you see from the color picker here, I've gone more into just a normal rich yellow. Not so much of the dark aspects of it. Good. Then come down the back of that finger. It's picking up that light there and here. And on the inner thumb, it's going to pick up some light yellow. Let's go to the face. Now the inner nose here is going to pick up some light yellow. There, outer nose. Very subtle on the cheek. There. Coming down the side of the face. And the underside of that lip. Now, depending on what kind of monitor you've got, I'm using a Philips TV as a secondary monitor here. And compared to my Cintiq, this lighting, this yellow highlight is extremely noticeable. If your monitor is anything similar to this TV that I've got here, you're seeing this lighting effect quite vividly. On my Cintiq, it doesn't look this extreme. Like you can see on the white, it's just not as evident. No. Good. Just a little bit of an accent going under the nose. There, might pick up a little bit of light. This fresh color is very responsive to the lighting that I'm putting in here, which is kind of directing me to putting in a hard light layer, clipping layer. You know what, why don't we do that? Because that's something new that we can learn here today. Right, you see the sword effects, right? And then we have the normal blue-white. I'm going to put a layer above, and then this icon here, see this? It's called clip to layer below. So now anything that happens here could only relate to this layer, the color below. So what I'm going to do is, because of how the lighting has come out on the flesh, I want to exaggerate it on the blue. So I'm going to get a normal spray can, not dodge or burn. It's just going to be normal. And I'm going to spray some yellow on the outer white-blue parts. And I'm going to stick a hard light filter on this layer. I'm going to make it yellow, and I'm going to call it accent. Let's see if we can get a bit more of this lighting going to harmonize with the face on the costume. Because the dodging wasn't quite as extreme. I've got a hard light. Let me see what soft light. No, soft light is not quite harsh enough. Yeah. Yeah, quite a rich. I'm putting quite a rich yellow in here. Now what I don't want is to hit the cloak behind. So I just select the arm and I put my accent in the big spray can in there. We put quite a feather on it so it bleeds into the blue. Yeah, that's better. By the same token, I'm not going to switch off the base. I'm going to put in a big accent on this outer cape. So I got myself a big spray can. I want my light here to come in and bleed over to the blue nicely. Good. I'm going to do this part of the cape over here. I'm just holding shift. I'm being lazy. I'm selecting by holding shift. If I switched off the inking layer, it would have selected a lot easier. Lazy teacher. Let me put that accent coming in here. The blue hits the light. Let's go for the body now. So I'm going to switch off the blacks. I'm going to select just the legs and the body area. And we get to work on that. Switch on our blues. Go back in our blacks. The cape is not selected. So we can neatly come in here and just spray safely. Now I shouldn't really have selected that arm behind. Bleed a bit of yellow over that side. Yeah, outer leg, picking up the light. Same here. As it goes under the skirt, the light's going to disappear. Going over that thigh, that's going to bleed over to the, slightly into the light area. It's coming forward, right? It's going to pick up the light from the right. The light from the right. Let me explain again what the clipping path does. You see here, it's clipped to this layer below. So I got a spray can here. See, it doesn't work out here, but as soon as I come over the area that got blue, it becomes active. That's what a clipping path does. So I'm going to put a big accent of yellow on this side of the headgear. A bit more subtle on this inner part here, and a bit across the lower helmet there. Good. Now let's go for the burgundy parts. Or let's call it magenta, shall we? So I want to put a shadow with the magenta that has purple properties. So let's bring the color picker into the purple zone. I'm going to put it in the center. Go to color burn. Keep my density at 20. And let's start to put in our generic light source, which is from above. So I'm going to put in a little bit of shadow in the lower leg here as it comes to meet the leg that's sticking out. This is going to catch some light. We deal with the primary light source first. A little bit of shadow near the sole of the foot. Let me zoom in so you can see what's going on, man. What's going on, baby? Put in the shadow at the base here. We get this all happening first. The foot behind is definitely more in the shadow. Then we've got our light coming in from the right. So now we put in the accent shadow. Put in accent shadow here. And I'm going to magic wand this. I don't want to touch the front foot. This foot behind will be in a certain amount of darkness. You can see from above. So we put that more in the purplish, in the dark. Select this area over here as well. So we put that more in the darkness. And we don't forget our accent shadow here either. Good. We go for the bands around the knee. So this back leg is definitely in the darkness. Good. Inner leg in the darkness, and then we put in our secondary light source shadow band. Light from above, so basic shadow at the bottom. Then our shadow band, our secondary light source shadow band here. Similar to below, put in our lower shadow. Now we come to the sword. I want to put this part in a flat shadow. So I'm going to select that part first and give it a flat shadow. First thing I'm going to do. I'm going to make down here slightly darker. Now I'm going to select the upper part of the sword. And the shadow is being casted down here. We're going to get that light shimmer coming in here in a minute. So I'm going to put a shadow here so we can reverse out this later on. And put a slight dark accent right on the edge here. In the back of the sword, I only want to shade this part first. You can't see the marching ants, can you? Just the handle, not the grip right on the back. So here, give me a shadow at the bottom, light source coming from above, generally speaking. Then I'm going to put a band of darkness. This sword here, this will not pick up any of the yellow light. So these shimmers. There. Then on the back part, we're going to have the shadow falling on the underside. Whoops, wrong brush. Coming up here. Come into the light. Come into the light. See your destiny. Come into the light. Deselect. Let's look at the armbands now, the gauntlets. Now this arm is kind of slightly behind her. So I'm going to put one band of shadow below and on top. Light source coming from above. So there's going to be a bit of a darkness there. And a band of darkness down here. Again, I should be magic wanding this area. The teacher thinks he's clever. Teacher can do without magic wand in small areas. So we'll see if it's asked to suffer. Now this one is more in the light. So I'm going to put my band of light there. Or my shadow band, sorry, for the secondary light source to play on. Then I'm going to put another shadow in here. Good. Now we look at her belt. Remember, we always do the shadows first. Oh, we got Raoul in the house. Who's this? Raoul says, the shadow. Indeed, Raoul T. And then what else we got here? Oh, Paul says, hey, Raoul. Raoul, as I mentioned earlier, Raoul was with me. My God, it's too early in the morning. I can't talk. Raoul was with me this morning on Late Night Art Attack, which was great fun. We also had Christian Zaffo and Edwin of the MASCOT. Amazing concept. The boys have got some good stuff going. You check them out on Madness Entertainment Group. They're the usuals that drop by Late Night Art Attack. We normally have Chris with us as well, but Chris is on a bit of a hiatus at the moment. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Putting in some basic shadows on this belt. I'm going to put in a shadow here, a bit on the side, going in that direction. I want to pick up some like yellow secondary light. Yeah, boy. Pick up that light, boy. Pick up that light. Shall we visit this again later? And put a simple shadow band on this decoration on the stomach area. Zoom in, boy. Let me see what's going on. What's going on, man? That voice I'm using. I watched a really good movie years ago called Falling Down with Michael Douglas. One of my favorite films of all time. And he came across a couple of gangsters that were mixed Hispanic. I'm not sure where they were from. I think they were Mexicans. And the accent that they were using when they were talking to him. What's in your briefcase, man? It was very funny. Because it wasn't going on, man. Sounds nothing like them, but puts me in that mind. Okay, we're going to put some basic shadows on this metal headgear. Metal Gear Solid. Got the banded shadow here. Quick shout out to the network here. The Meg TV has some great stuff. Links to books, store schedule, etc. Indeed. And we've just got our Ozzy Osbourne tribute book available on fundmycomic.com. So please check that out. The Meg TV. Check it out, y'all. How are we doing for time? The time there, I believe, is 6:55. We still got just over half an hour. I dare say we should finish this image. And let's put in the shadows on the crown. Come to that metallic. Yee. Don't be lazy, Jerry Hinds. In fact, people ask me. I was calling my name is CRoM. But for a long time in Singapore, I just asked people to call me Jerry. Because when I first came here, a few people had problems pronouncing CRoM. And plus with my accent and my tendency to speak too fast, didn't help matters. And in Singapore, the majority of the population is Chinese. And not born in China, but their race is Chinese. So they're Singaporean Chinese. And a lot of the older generation, as in lots of generations of different ethnicities, the older generation are not so strong in English. So when I came here, shame on me, I couldn't speak Chinese. So one day an older Chinese man asked me what my name was. I was like, what's your name, man? So I says to him, CRoM. Now here in Singapore, there's a place called CRoM. Okay, it's in the extreme west of Singapore. So he said, so when he asked me, what's my name? What's your name, man? When I said CRoM, he heard CRoM. So he replies to me, CRoM, huh? CRoM. Your uncle named Johor, is it? That second part there, jokingly, he asked me if my uncle was named Johor, which is a place in Malaysia, just across the border from CRoM. So it was a very good joke that he made there. And in fact, I've done a bit of stand-up comedy out here. And that joke, of course, to the locals, they fully understand that joke in context, you see. And that joke always gets me a very big laugh. So then I started telling people to call me Jerry, to save on all the misunderstandings. So we got our shadows in for the magenta. So let's go for our basic lighting. So we go to white and color dodge. We put in a bit of light here. I'm gonna put in a sharp piece of white right on the top. Back in the early 90s, when comics were going digital, there was a coloring company called Liquid. And they used to color with some crazy highlights. Now I must confess, I'm a bit of a false prophet. Okay, I'm not reading a lot of Western comics in the last decade or so. And I've seen some of the art techniques have changed. I'm going to be controversial here. I'm not going to say evolved because when I look at modern comics, I'm not impressed. Okay, they're a lot more photorealistic. Some of them have some amazing anatomies. And I think that's where, hang on a second, let me backtrack. I'm busy talking and I don't like what I'm doing. I do not like what I'm doing here. So I'm going to take all these highlights, and I'm not opting for white. I want to highlight with a very bright magenta. So I'm going to put, see my color dial? It's in the magenta region, and I'm going to bring the picker into the pink zone. So I'm taking all that lighting. Let's start again. Okay, let's put in this accent up here. Okay, that's not pink enough. Let's come over here a bit more. Okay, that's getting there. That's more what I got in mind. Yeah, I'm going to pinkish highlight to what's going on here. Yeah, that's better. I'm much more happy with that. So I was saying about in the 90s, a company called Image. Well, it was called Image Comics. So a lot of it was to do with how their books looked. And one of the chief companies for coloring was a company called Liquid. And they had these crazy accents on a lot of their coloring. But boy, did I like it. I liked it very, very much. And I still like it. As I mentioned, modern comics nowadays, they don't look like that anymore. You know, as the saying goes, everything must change. But have they changed for the better? Debatable. I mean, Western comics sales in recent years, from what I believe, have been pretty dire. And, I don't know, comics got some stiff opposition now. I mean, back in my day, there was no internet. There was no other distractions, was there? You know, reading was a major attraction because there wasn't much else to do. So you pick up a comic, no video games. I'm showing my age now. There were no video games. There was TV, of course. There was animation, which we all loved. But there just wasn't as many things to choose from. So even if comics still look the way I like them to look, would they still be as successful? The chances are no. Would people be reading comic books now as much? So you've got to be careful in saying things like this, because from what I've heard this week, there's a Japanese manga called My Hero Academia. And that's doing very well in America. And I think a big reason for that could be the Japanese do not forget the younger demographic. Now, where I get some flack from my peers is I am not a big fan of graphic novels, let's say. I think my age group, I'm a boomer. We're responsible for a lot of bad stuff, right? And a lot of the boomer creators, they got old and they took the IP with them. And as I always say, I do some seminars here where I talk on this art form, etc. And I will say to people, every day, millions of kids are turning 9 years old or 15 years old. And I think it was rather short-sighted of the Western publishers to make the comics get old with my generation. They became more and more adult-friendly, and I never quite agreed with it. I never did. And I think what you're looking at now is the result, because manga is still doing pretty well because it's never forgotten its core demographic. And they've even picked up a lot of the market, a lot of the superhero market from the Western superhero, well, you know, the traditional superhero companies like DC and Marvel. But they only have themselves to blame, ladies and gentlemen. They only have themselves to blame. In my humble opinion. Okay, we're putting in this lighting here on the magenta areas. Let's check out the chat. Grey Wolf says, hiya chat. Hello, Grey Wolf. How's it going? So now let's put in our yellow light source. So I'm going to try with the color dodge on this again. Let's see if the dodge can do the business. Is it going to affect? Is it yellow enough? Not really, is it? Not really rich enough in the yellow. I might have to spray some yellow in there, I think. Okay, time for, let's put our clipping, let's put another clipping path above. Let's clip this. We call it accent 2. Accent 2. Change the layer filter. Hard light. Hard light. Go to normal. We got a spray can. We keep the density at 20. Put in a yellow accent on the right of this. Here. Maybe that yellow is a little bit rich. Let's pare it down a bit, shall we? Yee, not rich enough. What's wrong with my sense of color today, boy? You know, I need to take my density up. Just turn, will you please turn that up? I'm reciting an old hit from the 1980s by a band called the Gibson Brothers. No, the Conway Brothers. A song called Turn It Up. Will you please turn that up? Absolutely fantastic track. I'm turning up my yellow here. My yellow accent. Put. Okay, I was talking about Liquid. The company called Liquid earlier. We did the coloring. And their crazy accents on stuff. I find that my natural taste in things can be a bit over the top. I remember once I was paid a great compliment that was meant to be an insult. I showed my portfolio to an editor one day in America, and he says to me, "You suffer from the same problem as Jack Kirby. The page isn't big enough." Now, he meant it as an insult. I took it as a huge compliment. That my drawing was just too big. And I thought to myself, well, maybe he's right. But I've heard people complain about that with Jack Kirby, right? And that's a lot of the time, that is exactly what I'm aiming for. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe it is a fault, but I can't take it as a fault. Just putting a slight accent, reaching over here. Very gentle. A little bit of yellow on that armband. Spread into that gauntlet slightly. Now the sword, the hilt of the sword. I feel an image comic coming on. So a liquid. Okay, let's get a piece of liquid going here, shall we? Yee, that's too liquid. God damn. How is that looking? Oh, I can live with that. But let's keep it subtle. Don't get carried away, boy. Keep it subtle. Knee pads. An accent here. Let's pick up the outside of this boot. Yeah, boy. In here as well. Now I need to magic wand this part. Yes, I don't want to be encroaching on my boot behind. That could be a disaster suffered. What I just said about a disaster suffered, it actually comes from a boxing commentator. There was a fighter who named himself the master of disaster. But apparently he wasn't very good. And the British commentator, a man by the name of Harry Carpenter, he says, judging from his recent record, he's not sure if it was disasters given or disasters suffered. I thought that was one of the quotations of a lifetime. It's absolutely brilliant. Right, I'm going to put an accent in this sword. Disaster given, disaster suffered. What we do at the time? 16 minutes. That gives us just enough time to do her hair, eyes, and makeup. How about that? So I'm just saving. Okay, let's go in. Oh, sorry. I forgot the accents on the headgear. There, that'll do. Okay, let's shade the hair. Let's go for the shadows. I'm going to make them a bit purplish. Color burn. So the first thing I'm going to do is, okay, I take my density back down to 20. Shadow on the underside. Yeah. Shadows. Shadows. Can you see the shadows on the hair? This monitor is not picking them up the best. There we go. That will do for that. Now I'm going to get my Dodge. Let's put that secondary light source in here first. Let's take up my density. Whoops. I'm going to put stabilization at 90. I might use a little bit of blending in this. Get streaks up here going. There, the highlights going in. It's going to pick up a little bit of light by coming over here. Now I'm going to select the hair so I don't go outside. Then we get the blend tool and smooth it out slightly. I could get a lot more fussy with that hair, but I don't think I want to. Make some fine lines. I do get carried away with hair sometimes. There we go. Get a little bit of blending going. Now, something you can do to test your coloring is if you switch off your inking, you should see the foundation of a painting. Okay, if this looked very off, it would mean something is wrong with your coloring. Let's get the whites of the eye. Let's go and put in our burn. Then shadow at the top. Then color dodge. We bring the bulk of it back into the white. That shadow from the eyelid is very, very important to push your eyes forward. Very important. No, I did shade the magenta already, but I forgot to do the lips. So let's get back that purple. Go back to burn. Then we get dodge. But we get our highlight going. Then we get some yellow because of the lighting. Can we get a bit of yellow going into this part? Now let's get to the eyes. Okay, I want to make these quite rich. So I'm going to go for a rich brown to do the burn. I'm speeding up there because I want to finish this before the end of this session. Nice. And then the highlights, I'm going to go for yellow in the dodge. Here we are. Right, and I do like when shadows under my characters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a shadow under her. Now, I'll show you a quick way that I do shadows. I'm going to copy and paste as a basic color. So I'm going to fill this with black. Now I'm missing a sword. So I copy the sword. I put it in here. So now we have a shadow. So let's take this right to the bottom. What we do is we place it under her foot. Now we've got a light coming from above and slightly from the right. So we're going to free transform and slightly over like that. And then we knock it back slightly. That'll do. Okay, so there is our Lady Sif complete. I will save. And we've got a few minutes left. I wanted to finish a bit early so I can do a bit of plugging. All right, so let's just have a quick look at Lady Sif closer. We'll go from the bottom up. So there's the feet. Up to the legs, past the sword, arms and the cape, past the midriff and the belt, top, and then the face. Oh, sorry, I said I was going to put makeup on her. I am indeed. I'm going to put some blusher. I call this makeup. It's simple. Now I'm no makeup expert. I'm going to get some rich blusher. Normal. I put some on the cheeks. And I knock it back slightly. Like that. Then I get some eyeshadow. Put a bit of eyeshadow on the same layer. And it's kind of purplish to match her makeup, her lipstick. There. Sif. There, it's saved. And I'm going to zoom out so we can see the complete thing. Right. That's the end of the lady sif. And I may put a background on her later. I'll see how it goes. It's actually we do have a background that might fit this actually. Let me have a look. Thunderzone. Yeah, hold on. I might have. I can't put one, but can I separate it? That's the thing. Okay, let's open this. I'll take the background from this. Okay. I'll switch off all the characters. We'll look at this again on another day. It's to do with big project we're doing. Okay. So here's the background. Let's see how this fits our lady sif. I'll put it behind her. I was thinking of drawing a rainbow bridge, you know, from MASCOT. One shadow here we don't need. Put this into position. Okay, good. And what we can do, I suppose, is we've got a nice tilted axis here, right? So what we can do is we can take a good lady and why don't we just tilt her? Nothing more action-packed than a tilted character. Yeah, okay, good. Taking a bit of time to tilt that. Okay, good. So here she is on the background. Yeah, that fits pretty well. Good. So next week we will start something new, something different. Thanks all for tuning in. I'm going to run an ad and I will see you all back here same time next week where I'm thinking about it. What can we possibly do next? We just did some coloring digitally and I think we need to look at shading. I think that would be good. We look at how to hatch. Maybe we do a shading exercise. So thanks a lot for tuning in. I'll see you back here same time next week. And of course, if you've got any questions, just drop us a line. I make Manchester Entertainment Group. We're all over Facebook. You can find us easily. Oh, I do like that background music. So I'm going to run an ad, then the outro, and I'll see you back here next week, same time. Peace.
If you like stories about truth, honor, and justice, then you should check out MAGA Man. It is Donald Trump as many now see him, the defender of justice and a warrior for peace through strength. MAGA Man is an all-American style 22-page comic book, so get over to fundmycomic.com and support the culture of truth, honor, and justice. With MAGA Man, the most needed hero of all. MAGA Man.
The live viewing of any Madness Entertainment Group production, you can find all our content on Roku or as a member of this channel. We'll see you next time on the Madness Entertainment